everyone, this is Jennifer with DP Addiction Adventures, and it's JennTube time. I got my coffee, I got my Chuck Pinson, and I've got my stories. Are you guys ready? I'm going to take a quick sip. Just made it. Might be hot. Oh, yeah. All right. So, what has been going on? I'm calling this JennTube COVID-19 or quarantine or whatever I feel like when I put my little caption up, because I'm going stir crazy. And so I just wanted to share what's been going on in the world of DP Addiction Adventure. So first, let's dive in and pick out a color. I'm gonna go with this orange color. And then I'm gonna pick this green Archer's Arch tray to put it in, because I just love when the colors contrast. Just side note, the Archers are doing amazing. They have shut down production except for Color of the Month. And they even shut that down because everybody exploded this month's color, which is Aqua Silk. Oh, I love Aqua. And so I was able to grab it, but they are doing protective masks for the healthcare workers. So let me grab my pen. Pardon me. So yeah, anyway. So what's been going on? Okay, so I have been officially working from home, I'd say 2.5 weeks. 3 weeks ago on Monday, we had a meeting after the governor released, I'm in Michigan, the governor released, it wasn't a stay at home, it was just kind of like a warning of only people who are essential should be out and about. And I work for a nonprofit who helps refugees and foster families. And so they were saying, you know, no in-home visits. If you need to be in the office, be in the office. However, if you can work from home, then work from home. So that Tuesday and Wednesday, I worked from home. We canceled all of my therapy appointments because we needed to figure out how this was going to work. Again, this is before the stay-at-home order. And so we're like, all right, are we going to have my clients come face-to-face, but then they need to take these medical taxis? Just a second, another coffee sip. So then, you know, which clients were in the high-risk category, again, because we didn't know a lot at this time. So for Tuesday and Wednesday, we canceled my clients. I went in on Thursday because we still could go into the office. It was almost dead. Everybody was working from home, all the case managers, social workers. They were updating their clients on what COVID-19 was, different things like that, because most of our clients don't speak English. And so working with translators, calling everyone up. So on Thursday, I did 2 clients over the phone. The other ones we had canceled. And so that was interesting. So then Thursday, our governor, again, this is 3 weeks ago, Thursday, our governor said there's a shelter-in-place order, which means basically grocery stores, restaurants with food, and healthcare providers, and then, you know, fire and police officers. Those are the people that need to be out and about. And so my organization went from a level 2 to a level 3. And that meant we all had to work from home. So Friday, I was like trying to figure out and race how to do this telehealth stuff. I was working with our admin on how do we even get our clients who are illiterate, who even in their own language. One client told me, unless you've already programmed it in my phone, I don't even know how to read the numbers to type it in my phone. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's pleading with us, come and help her. And we're like, we can't see you face to face. You're going to have to get over this barrier, this fear. If it doesn't work, we're going to stick with you and keep working on it. So my admin and I, well, not my admin, the admin of the department and I were working on like a script or a template of what the best way to help people understand. And we were also saying, okay, we decided to use Zoom. And so which clients had internet so they could download it and do Zoom face-to-face, you know, and which clients would we have to teach how to call in. And so anyway, it was just kind of Friday was all me going through hours and hours of training. And you would think learning telehealth would be easy, you know, if you know any type of technology. You just plug in the headphones, open the site, click the link, and you're done. But evidently, there's a training video for the insurance companies so that you know what to do to appease them. There's a training video for the company I work with, and then there's a training company for the licensing to make sure you appease them. So there was 3 hours of training videos I was watching. Meanwhile, most people in our organization are, okay, 1 week worth of work to catch up. But if this thing was going to go on 3 weeks, at that point, that's what the governor was saying. Our organization was coming up with ways of here's trainings, here's this, and they're mandatory. Well, I already had 40 plus hours of work, and now, even from home, and now I have these trainings that are mandatory. And I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously. So thank goodness our team admin is amazing. She's multilingual. She was able to call most of our clients and talk them through because she didn't need an interpreter. And we were starting to get that second week scheduled, which was the first week I was mandatory to be at home. So Monday comes around and I'm like, all right, here we go. And I'm like sitting down, and then all of a sudden I realized, and we had talked to our daughter and we had said, look, school is closed, but that doesn't mean that it's like spring break or summer break. Like, you're still going to have a schedule. So trust me, this will all make sense in a minute. So we had told her, all right, you need to be up by 8. You can give yourself an hour to eat breakfast, get yourself moving, watch a show if you want, play with the dog, because she's supposed to feed the dog, let her out, you know, all this stuff. And then from 9 o'clock, you need to be dressed. So she developed her own schedule where it took her a day or two, but she loves it. So she gets up, she spends that hour just kind of relaxing, which works out because my first clients are at 9. So even though I'm sitting in my chair by 8:15, I'm ready to go, doing case noting, different things like that. When I'm on the phone, so she can't really hear through the room, she's busy doing her thing. And she can't really hear what I'm saying, but I just feel better knowing that she's on a different floor than I am. I don't know, just for confidentiality, because the door's shut and everything, but anyway, we won't go there. So she usually gets up, does her thing, empties the dishwasher from the night before. She does running on the treadmill to keep herself in shape, and then takes her shower, and then does some distance ed learning. She's working on a couple projects that are fun, craft projects. Tim and I, during our breaks, check on her, spend some time with her. So the dog, this is why I say this. So that first day, I'm sitting there, and the dog is like, why are these people home and they're not paying attention to me? And so she's at the door to my office is our nursery that we have because we're in the adoption process. And, oh, it's been a long road. I've had a couple videos where I cry about it. But anyway, So the place that I'm working, Tim set me up an office. I'm literally right next to the crib, and but I shut the door, and the dog stands outside the door and whines. And so every client I have, I go through what I'm supposed to go through, but then I also say, look, like, I'm in a private location. You know, confidentiality is fine, but just beware. I do have a dog, and sometimes she barks at the mailman, and sometimes she whines because she wants to come into the office, but she's not allowed. And I make a joke about, you know, confidentiality, and they laugh, and it's fine. So I'm like, Now, I was talking to my husband. I'm like, does she do this to you? Because you work from home. And he's like, no, because nobody's home. Like, that's her routine. She sits in front of the window because his office is off our family room right behind where I'm sitting. And so he's on a different floor. He's in the basement. And he's like, nope, she comes down and just checks that I'm in my office. And then she goes, and I guess she sits in front of the window, and then she lays on her bed and goes to sleep for the day and keeps checking on the squirrels and the mailman as she wants. But because Lydia is around the house, and because she hears my voice because I'm talking, she's like, what is going on? Because on the weekend, she just pals around with us and follows us everywhere. And she's just like, oh my gosh. So I managed to get through that first. So the first week wasn't mandatory, but I worked 2 days from home. Well, actually 3, because Friday ended up being mandatory. So the second week was mandatory, made it through that, was like, all right, I can handle this. And then last week was week 3, and I just, oh my gosh, I don't know what was happening. I don't know if it's just because my anxiety, I'm off because I need a schedule. And even though I try to keep a schedule, it's just weird. So I was talking to my boss. We were having supervision. I was like, I'm struggling. I said, and so we were processing, and I figured it out. I was like, you know, I think what it is I stuck with my routine, right? So I get up, instead of being at work by 8:15 and ready to go, I'm sitting, you know, here in this office ready to go by 8:15. I'm doing everything I normally do. I said, I think what's happening is I don't have that drive home to decompress. And I don't, you know, normally, even if I had to go pick up Lydia, I have that like 10-15 minute drive to her school, or 10-15 minute drive home, listening to the radio, listening to a YouTube video. I just have that time to separate myself from the clients. Where right now, I hang up the phone, I literally turn around, open the door, and boom, there's my dog, there's my husband, there's my daughter, there's the house. It's just, there's no separation. That boundary has been blurred and is gone. So this week was really hard. I was trying different things of, you know, at work, I don't usually take breaks, but I do walk around the office after a hard session, where I don't have that here. And my back has been out. You guys have been listening to that. So my daughter and my husband have been riding bikes, taking walks after work, those kind of things. And I can't. I have not been out of the house since last Thursday, and my chiro has closed. And then the shelter in place was extended to April 30th. And this is not me complaining. I'm just talking. And so I'm figuring it out, you know, and that's kind of a side note, is once we're aware of something, like what the problem is, then we can say, how am I going to address it? Am I going to address it at all? Or am I going to sit and complain about it? Or am I going to ignore it? Or am I going to do something? And so now that I know what the problem is, hopefully this new week I'll be able to like jumpstart it and try some new things and figure out how to help those boundaries not blur. I'm going to build some more. I built some more, it's not break time, it's just not client after client, because they were trying to fit people in, and it's my fault. I told the admin, you know, hey, go ahead and only give me a 15-minute break between these clients instead of a 30-minute break, and that is a no-no. So I've learned my lesson. I built in spacing in my schedule, and so hopefully this coming week will be better. I'm sure it will. And so, you know, the quarantine is difficult for, I call it quarantine. It's the shelter in place has been difficult. But we're getting there, right? And we'll, you know, and I just, this too shall pass, and we have each other and we have the community. I think I'm also jealous because there's so many people who, you know, the grass is greener on the other side, right? There's people who, you know, are laid off or furloughed, and they've got nothing to do, and, you know, the first day or two is great, but then after that, they're like, you know, and I'm not talking about the stress of paying bills and not having a paycheck. That's a completely different story. I'm just talking about the time of not being able to fill it. And so they're stressed because they want to fill their time. They're bored. I'm stressed because I have too much to do, right? And just like, seriously. And I can't sit there and diamond paint because I mean, think about it. If you've ever had a therapist, what it would be like if they sat there and diamond painted while they were in session. And it's also difficult because I need to focus on the client, and when they don't speak English, I don't, especially if it's a call-in. Now a video is much different, but if it's a call-in, which most of mine are right now, as we're getting them used to this, I can't observe body language. I can't, you know, focus on something in the room. I just sit there and stare at the wall while they're talking, and then I have to wait for the interpreter to tell me what they've said. And I can't tell inflection of voice because some languages, the inflection doesn't, inflection, potato, doesn't, like matter. Like speed of talk and, you know, ups and downs, quiet, not quiet. And so I can't base it off of that. And so I'm like drumming my fingers, waiting for the interpreter to tell me what's going on. And then I can, you know, process it. Oh my goodness. It's like not sticky right there. And I think it's because there's a piece of plastic. It didn't get all the way off. Right. We're going to rectify this. So yeah, so it's been an adventure, and to say the least. What is going on here? Oh my goodness. Okay. So yeah, it's been interesting, but I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Oh my goodness, it's a piece of plastic left over, like it had gotten. All right, let's try this now. Yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good. Nothing to see here, nothing to see. Keep walking, keep walking. Okay, so that's kind of what's been going on. And Fridays, we've got a new norm. Fridays, my husband has off, so we make up a grocery list, and the medication that he's on for his autoimmune is something that is actually they're realizing is helping people who have the virus. So he is all like, I'm going to go out and do the grocery shopping. And So he and my daughter just go to one store. They do the grocery shopping every Friday instead of multiple trips. They come home and, oh, I am so tired of cooking, people. It's just crazy. So anyway, we're all doing well. We're all hanging in there. But the funny story I wanted to tell was we've started watching The Masked Singer together as a family. And it was so funny because my husband and I are sitting there, you know, during the clue packages, making guesses, different things like that. And my daughter's sitting there and she loves the show. And she just goes, Mom. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I wish I knew who these people were. I was like, what? She's like, these people are all old. I don't know any of them, so I can't guess like you can. And I was just like, oh, my daughter just called me old. So anyway, I just thought that was really funny. We've got a lot of family fun jokes, and we're just trying not to get on each other's nerves since we're around each other 24/7 and hanging in there. So I hope you guys are hanging in there and taking good care of yourself and making sure that your boundaries are where you want them to be. And yeah. So next time, next JennTube, who knows what it'll be. But JennTube is a behind the scenes of my life and my diamond painting. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. And until next time, be blessed. Take care. Bye-bye.